Welcome back at another tutorial about the Korg Pa5X. In this tutorial we are going to take a look at how to use the Recording Studio, which you can find over here, to create new styles based on existing styles. It's a really easy process, but you need to know a few things. So select one of the internal styles and let's start with this process. So what we are going to do is we go into the classic pop category and we take the Hey Jude song from the Beatles. Now, one of the complaints I read online is that there are way too much song-specific styles in this Korg Pa5X. And well, that is true, but on the Pa5X you can easily transform them to generic styles. So let's use this classic song of the Hey Jude song from the Beatles, and let's create a generic style out of it with the Recording Studio in the Korg Pa5X. So when we look at this style, then we need to remove the song-specific elements. So let's hear every element. And you can do it on variation 4 where everything is playing. Well, I don't need this one. The ballad style. We can keep that one. Yeah, the guitar we don't need, so mute that one. And this one we also don't need. And the piano we also don't need. So we are going to only use the ballad and the percussion things for this. And we are going to add pad elements so that we can use those to make a generic style out of it. So for pad 1 we choose something like percussion, so use the shaker 2, shaker and gonga 2, it's the fourth one on page 1. And for pad 2 we are going to use a synth specific element, so let's use pad 4 on page 3. When we play this now, with the elements again, well, it doesn't sound like Hey Jude at all. So it would be nice if we create a style out of this. So we have set up the thing that we are going to record in the Recording Studio, and we are going to use this specific element now for our new style. So how do you do that? Well, press the Rec Edit button and activate Recording Studio. So we are in the Recording Studio now. Well, the Recording Studio is actually the second player now. So the second player acts as a Recording Studio, and the style is played with the first player. So player 1 is the style, player 2 is the Recording Studio. So what are we going to do? Well, we are going to record the style, the chords, and the pad. And we don't need the keyboard set. If you want to have specific melody lines, you can record the keyboard set and activate that too, but for this demo we don't do that. So that's basically all. So the most important things you need to know to create a style out of this is that it has to be at least 20 measures long. So this element here over here has to be at least 20 measures. And it works the best if you record the complete style in C. So this is the way to set it up. It has to be at least 20 long, and we are going to play this in the C chord. So press the C chord so that you see a C, and that's the only thing you have to do. Now, set it to variation 1, press the intro 3, and now basically we are ready. So what we are going to do is we press the play button. On variation 1 we activate pad 1 and 2, and whenever we see that we are going to measure 4, then press the next one with the autofill enabled, so that there is constantly a fill on the third measure. The last one we keep it going for 8 measures, so that we hit that 20 spot. And we end with end 3. So that's basically all we are going to do. It's that easy. So let's do it. Press the play button and you will see this process now in action. So watch that counter, and as soon as you see that it goes to 4, press the next variation. Now it enters that fill. Let's go on for the 4 meshes. Measure 4. So now it's on measure 4, but you see that it's not, it still didn't reach 20. So we are going to keep continuing now doing this. So let's enter a fill and go to enter key. So it's now, it's 25, that is long enough. And press the stop button so that we don't need to record any longer. So it's 26 now, but it can be 22 also, that works also. So we've created now that specific element, you can see it over here. One nice thing to know is that you can hold the settings button and you can zoom, and when you hold the menu button and then you can quickly go through that element, but that will be in a later tutorial. Now the only thing we need to do is to create a MIDI file out of it. So press the hamburger menu and select export arrangement as MIDI song. Save it somewhere with a name that you can recognize. QR new style. That's fine. Okay, save it to something. Now let's save it to the Korg disk in this case. And now we don't need the style or the recording studio anymore. Now we've created a, let's go to the song style. And when we are going to select this one, QR new style as song, you can play that specific song which we just have recorded. But we want to make a style out of it. So how do you do that? Most people will say, hey, let's create a new style. And press the menu button, go to import and select the import standard MIDI file. And that doesn't work. If we try that, you will see, hey, it cannot be imported because it does not contain the required style element markers. Now, why is this? Well, on position 1, the Korg Pa5X in the Recording Studio entered all kind of information. Actually, the MIDI file starts on position 2, and it can't import things that are starting on position 2. So I think it's something they have to fix, but it doesn't work. But we don't need it this way. So the way to do it is to go to the Rec Edit button, press the Style Creator bot. Now we are going to select that specific style that we just created. Select it, press the Exit button, and now we have that new style. Save it in something where you can find it. And well, let's name it QR new style. So it is actually is a style. And we want to load it in player 1. And what it did now is we've created a new style from what we all did. And this one is actually very usable. So let's try it. So we are on variation 1 now, and it plays now in A minor. Just what we tried to do. Let's go to variation 2. Well, it sounds quite similar. So let's go to variation. It adds the strings. Let's go to variation 4. It's a different voicing of the strings. So very nice. So we have that now. So let's make a few quick changes. I hear the snare and I want to delay on the snare. So let's try that. yeah, only congas. So let's add that. It's in the percussion track, so let's do something like a delay. Yeah, maybe an out of band delay. Yeah, that gives a little bit less. As you know, sound design is all about subtlety. So that is nice. Yeah, that's much better. So, but we also have this sound. Let's also add some delay on top of that. Also don't make it too complex. And you hear it's not in sync, and that's because we didn't select the BPM delay. So use the BPM delay for that, and now it's in sync. And you hear it doing all kind of things. And it would be nice if this element is a little bit more interesting. So let's create an auto filter on that, and in the filter section, add a random filter. Yes, very nice. And we want a little bit more of the dry signal, so that is on top of that. So now you hear the original with a little bit of effect on top of that on all the delay traps. So very nice. Now let's try it with everything. So now the good thing is that it also adds all kind of new pads to it that is for this specific element. So let's try to create a song with this just for fun. Now we have all kind of pads on top of that, and this was the Hey Jude style, a very song specific style, and we created just in a few, well, if you are doing it more often, then it's a few seconds to create these kind of things. Etc. And of course you can do the things like only the drums and bass. So this way you can play your piano on top of this. It works fine. Let's go. And let's go to the. So you can have a lot of fun with this, and of course you can modify the pads to something you like more. If you don't like that string, let's do something different. Maybe this is something. So as you see, very easy to create your new styles. It was the Hey Jude style. Within a few minutes, we created a new style out of it. It works really well. So have fun with it. It works for every style in your PA5X. And if you add your melody specific elements to it, then it will also use those. So that's it for now, and hope it helps. And have fun creating your own new styles with the recording studio.